Packers only favored by 4.5 here in Carolina because the Panthers have more December wins than the Philadelphia Eagles, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. 1-0.
Okay. And
so the Panthers are rolling.
The Packers, LaFleur has December losses now for the first time ever.
Kind of a useless stat.
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
It was useful.
He was undefeated in December.
When he hadn't lost in December, it was a useful stat. Now he's lost multiple times in December.
Joe Barry, under heat, defensive coordinator for the Packers after just the last couple weeks. Again, within 6 days, Tommy DeVito leads a fourth-quarter comeback, and Baker Mayfield puts up a perfect passer rating in Lambeau.
The second one was the problem. Like the first one, Joe Barry's been under criticism for a long time, but it's a difficult argument to make at times because they actually don't give up that many points. And if you look at a lot of numbers, they're broadly speaking just average. They're not terrible, but they've been situationally terrible. So it's like it manifests in the Tommy DeVito drive, right, where they get way too soft, they make it too easy, and they give up the game because they got bad at the wrong time. The Bucs game, though, it was like this was just awful start to finish. Like that's the game that you use to say we need to get him out of here. And honestly, that was the kind of game that could get people fired generally. Like it wasn't quite the Chargers-Raiders game, but it wasn't a million miles away. That was an awful game. So he needs to bounce back. Like he needs to show up this week and have a game plan that can actually stop this team, which, let's be honest, shouldn't be that hard because everybody else has. So, if Bryce Young has his best game of the season, that's a pretty bad indictment against Joe Barry's defense this week.
I've done that for other defenses. I think it was the Vikings last year. I went down and I looked at all the quarterbacks and said, how many guys had their best game of the season against the Minnesota Vikings defense last year? It was like 5 guys.
Right.
That's a lot. I mean, to have their very best game, their highest graded game, it was like Mac Jones, Dak Prescott, it was a bunch, Jared Goff or whatever. I don't know if the Packers are at that level necessarily, but certainly Baker Mayfield, best game in a long time for Mayfield last week. Bryce Young, though, also coming off of his best game in the rain against Atlanta. Wasn't like it was incredible or anything, but he made a few nice throws down the field. Didn't turn the ball over as much as he usually does. So always looking for just a little positivity at the end of a rookie season, and maybe that sparks a little something for Bryce Young here. At home, getting the 4.5.
If Green Bay lose, they drop under 10% to make the playoffs.
They're 6-8.
Yeah.
Right now, right?
Now, if they win, they don't exactly go that high. They stay at a 33%-ish chance to make the playoffs. But if they lose, they're basically done.
All right. Green Bay favored by 4.5 in Carolina. Where are you going with this one?
Green Bay. I mean, they can function on offense. I was actually kind of encouraged by their offense, even in the loss. I can't imagine the defense will be as bad as it was a week ago.
Yeah. Going back to like preseason takes, Green Bay having Jordan Love playing pretty well with the receiving group, showing a lot. I mean, I think there's optimism in Green Bay if they could figure out that defense.